Yeah, it's just crazy. You just never know what people are thinking. So I don't know, but yeah, she didn't let me know. I'm just like, child, I just wasted my vacation days for no reason. Cause I can't say, oh, let me I'm gonna cancel my days off.
You didn't attend the wedding?
I did not. Yeah, it was
Really?
a week before, and again, okay, so around June is like wedding season here in America. So
Okay.
yeah, it was very hard for me to find a hotel to yeah, to book myself. So if I couldn't find a hotel, like where am I going to stay at?
Yeah, I totally get it.
I mean, my flight is already booked, but like I have to change and I can easily drive to whatever, but rent a car. Like there's multiple ways to get somewhere, but like where am I going to lay my head? And if I don't have that place, like I'm screwed. Like what's
Yeah, I totally get it. That's enough reason for you to cancel, actually. I know a friend that the date she fixed for her wedding
hmm
was set up conveniencing, and she told her friends about 2 weeks after,
hmm
or 2 weeks to the date. You
hmm
know, some persons just have their wedding dates fixed very close.
hmm
And when eventually was fixed, it was 2 weeks to the date of the wedding. And what she told us was, if you can't make it, I totally understand.
hmm
Okay, because I gave you a short notice, and also I I did been I started planning for some things earlier before date is if date is fixed. It makes a difference. Over here we call the bridesmaid train thingy, we call it ashrebi.
Okay.
Okay. And the ashrebi thing sometimes it takes different dimensions. Some
hmm
persons have to make dresses beyond the conventional dresses. Some persons sometimes we have up to 4 sets.
Okay. Yeah, you guys do
Just
weddings big in Nigeria.
it doesn't always have to be big. I
Big?
think it's
Okay.
about being girls, girls wanting their gang to be there to cheer them on the big day. So the wedding may not necessarily be big, but the girls want the line to be long, girls shouting, yeah, yeah, and stuff like that. So this particular girl didn't tell us on time, and she said, I know the time is too short for you to even get your tailors to do anything.
hmm
December period is the wedding season here in Nigeria
Oh, wow.
between the ending of November and December. Then when it gets to Easter, it's another wedding period in Nigeria. So
Okay.
it's on the 29th of December that she fixed. So she told us, I didn't give you guys a prior notice. So if you cannot do the Ashrabi, I totally understand. And when another member of the group needed to wed, and she
Mhm.
was told, she bought the Ashrabi, and she
Right.
did. She came through full time. And I was really impressed because that's what I call friendship. She
hmm
understood that it wasn't our fault that we couldn't turn up for her. And when it was her time to turn up for somebody else, she understood, oh, well, it's not like they refused to turn up for me. So how about I just, be there for my girl? So that's why I say sometimes before I do things, put myself in the shoes of other people.
hmm
And when they do stuff, when they react to what I did, I try to also reason. I mean, if I was to be the person here, what would I have done? I mean, in a situation like yours, I totally understand that a lady has got to be a lady. It's
hmm
a different thing for guys. I mean, I'm not saying men have to be careless, but some guys would say, oh, well, on the day, I could just go to a random place, have my bath, put on my suit, and that's it.
Right.
But girls, you need the privacy to have a good bath. You know, you need to have your makeup done.
It's a whole
It's
process.
realities. Yeah, it's a whole process. I totally understand it.
Yeah, but it's all right though. I got other friends. Shout out to Lola. I will see you later, Lola. She's funny.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but that's my little definition of friends. Unfortunately, us Americans, we use the word loose very loosely. And yeah, I think for me, community is important. because it's just who I am. I'm around. I like sometimes I like being around people and just to get to know them a little bit better. Beyond the surface level, or just gather my own perspective of some of them, other than hearing from other people. Because sometimes your experience with people are different from mine, and I'm willing to just take that chance to find out.
Oh, well, I think the chances are everything
Mm.
because we are a product of different things.
Yeah.
Nurture, nature,
Hmm.
family, friends. I think that all of those things translate to how we treat things.
Oh, yeah.
Because let's say some mothers have the tradition, some persons grew up knowing that their mothers have friends and how their mothers grow with their friends. Some persons grew up knowing that their mothers didn't have any friends. So they also do not see having friends as a big deal. They don't see keeping up with the relationship as a big deal.
Hmm.
Okay. So all of those things are the things that translate to how we treat the whole friendship.
Yeah.
For persons, it's a big, big deal to have your girl gang. And for some other persons, oh well, what do I need them for? For some persons, I tell
Yes.
you, it should not even be in their lives at all. I mean, I have had women, older women tell me about how having girlfriends is a no-no. Because
There's
they
some
have
women
the,
who think like that.
yeah, they have the impression that having girlfriends, you could just get negatively influenced. That, they have only they don't really value the whole girl kinship thing. And that's understandable.
I
Okay.
feel I definitely understand. I think sometimes some women are not strong within themselves because some of the women that say that, oh, she might influence me to do something, but how can someone influence you to do something if you're so solid within yourself? Like, no one can influence me, or no one can provoke me to do something if I'm very set in my ways or confident in whatever I got going on, that someone else can influence me. I don't know. I just feel like some women are just not sold, or, just self aware within themselves, that they just let some people influence them to do things. That's just my opinion.
I think also, friends are supposed to be people who share a similar lifestyle with you.
Hmm.
So, I mean, if we are birds of a feather, what's that to influence really? If we are birds of a feather, there is nothing to influence. So
Right.
I think about being in the wrong mix. If you're in the wrong mix,
Hmm.
those factors could come in. But let's say I have a group of friends who are professionals who
Hmm.
have them at this point in our lives, we share the same priorities. You'd find out that the idea of influence becomes a vague concept. Okay,
Hmm.
it doesn't hold any water in the friendship. So I think it's about the circle. How is it? I do know that life doesn't give us the same thing at the same time.
Right.
Okay, within a circle, some persons may just get married, some decide to have kids, and some persons would remain single. And at that time, priorities would change for different
Hmm.
people in the same group. But then there are things that we still have in common. I mean, as friends, we may have always shared the same concept, the same mindset about marriage. We may
Hmm.
have always shared the same mindset about family, about work, about female independence, about female finances. So there is basically nothing to influence, especially when it has to do with negative influence here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Cause my friend Lola, hey girl, she is full fledged mom. When I mean full fledged mom, like nothing comes before her kids,
So yeah,
and her husband and her households, and she's just very dainty. I'm not dainty, but she's very dainty, and I am. Huh? What'd you say?
I said that's where life is with her at this point. Maybe when you have kids and a husband,
Yeah.
possibly you may become dainty.
Possibly. I say, yeah. I tell her this all the time. Like, I don't know if you're trying to tap into my inner mom or something, but we still hanging in there together. I don't know. We have some type of similarity, but yeah, we've been friends almost a decade. I've always met her married, and we've gone through our ebbs and flows, but we are able to just have those authentic and just uncomfortable conversations where she is not able to attend or she's not able to talk to me as much because she has kids to raise and they're at an impressionable part of their years, and I may not understand it now, but when I get to it, I understand, but I respect it. Like we're always able to have these uncomfortable conversations, and I'm fine with it. Again, as long as we're able to communicate, it may not be right then and there. I'm like understanding, and sometimes I know there's times where she was like breastfeeding. She's like, "Hey, girl, I'm up. You know, I know you up. What you doing?" Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Hmm.
and that's about friends sharing their lives with each other. I
Hmm.
mean, at this point, she didn't feel like, oh, she wouldn't understand my stage, no. And at that point, you didn't also give her the vibe that she was rubbing it in, or maybe she was, giving you a different vibe. I think that's one of the reasons why friends break up when their priorities change, because people's mindsets sometimes differ. So you hear people
Yeah.
say stuff like, oh, well, she's not thinking what I'm thinking at the moment. So how about I just go to people who think what I'm thinking?
I mean,
You get,
well, she breaks stuff down. Like we break stuff down to each other.
and
Like
that's
when
because
she,
you value
yeah,
the friendship. You wanted to keep it.
right. So yeah, she breaks stuff down. It may not be to a T, but it's broken down for me to understand, and I'm just like, okay, now I get it. Like, thank you for sharing, because I'm not a mom. I'm not in that headspace. Like, I don't know the inner workings or whatever your goal is within your household, which you don't have to share with me. But I understand now. But yeah, we're able to have so many uncomfortable conversations, and it's not an argument. It's just a uncomfortable conversation that needs to be ironed out, and some people don't are not okay with that.
Hmm. That's man. I think it's about the persons involved too. I found myself in the past when I had less understanding of this entire thing, withdrawing from friends when
Hmm.
they get married. Maybe because we also did not communicate a whole lot before the
Yeah.
marriage happened, and then when marriage happened, the gap even became wider.
Hmm.
Okay. So I totally understand that for you, friendship is constant communication. And that's
Yes.
one thing that I take away from this conversation today. Like, it's one big lesson I've learned. And I feel like for those persons I really value after this conversation, I try to keep up more contact with them. That's it. That's it for me from today. And I've just come to realize in the course of this conversation that all of those friends that there seem to be a distance after
Hmm.
they got married. There is a possibility that, it was just me who gave them the space, feeling like, oh man, their probabilities, the things they think about now, their priorities have changed. And so the probability of them wanting to be my circle is different. And when they also didn't reach out, I kept my cool.
Yeah.
Okay. It has happened with a lot of my female friends. They got married. I just have a few that kept on the conversation, but sometimes they didn't want to share, possibly because over here in Nigeria, there is this unspoken ideology about when you get to a certain age, you're expected to be getting married. Things about your mates are
Oh,
getting
girl,
married.
I hear it all the time, child.
Yeah. So they feel like, well, if I start to talk to her about things about marriage, she may feel bad in the sense that we finished school the same year, we're in the same age bracket, and I am married, I'm experiencing all of this, and she's not, especially where we have been friends long enough to share the same ideologies about marriage, about having a family.
Hmm.
So sometimes I feel like girls may avoid their friends because they don't want it to look like I'm rubbing it in. I'm making her feel more single. I'm rubbing the whole idea of my child this, my child that. When the two of us had always wanted to get married at a certain time, and then she didn't get married, I didn't get married. I don't want to talk about these things with her so I can make her feel bad.
I don't know. I again, I'm very secure in myself, and I always knew I did not want to be a young mom. I wanted to explore and be, yeah, I want to explore and just have enough resources for me to pass on to my kids. So when my friends talk about marriage or kids, like I don't feel any type of way because again, I know what I want for myself, and you're not making me feel any type of way for me because you have what I want, but I just
Did,
knew that I didn't. Hmm?
did your friends know this about you?
Absolutely.
Aha, it makes all the difference. They know this about you, so they don't feel like they're hurting you in any way. They know this is, I mean, you don't care. It's a
Yeah,
different scenario.
I don't know. But
Aha.
yeah,
But in situations where your friends know that you wished, okay, quote and unquote now, if you
mhm.
wished you were married to, you wish to have kids too, they may not want to share this thing so they don't feel like they're peeking on the soft spot.
Did they communicate to you?
Well, I'm not speaking for myself. I'm saying generally the things I've heard other girls say. But for myself, okay, you're talking about me and my friends who got married. I think, no, no,
No,
not at all.
communication. That's why I'm like, communication is like, I don't think it's like emphasized like enough. I'm not saying like communicate like every little thing, but if me and you are out and you're married, you have your lifestyle and I have the lifestyle and I'm gonna tell you like, hey girl, if I see a man over there and I'm winking over there, you know dating is priority. So if you can bear with me for 10 minutes while I see what he's about, like are you okay with that? Like that's just who I am. I communicate. Like that's a priority for me. Like I know this is our time, but can you give me like 10 minutes to see, just to say hi to him and then I'm gonna come back to you. Like are you okay with that? Like cuz that's a priority for me. I vocalized that. Like I communicated that's where I want to go within the next few years. Like that's what I want. Like now I'm ready to move on to the next chapter of my life. And if you're not supporting of that, then I'm not really sure. But I communicate this stuff.
Yeah, I totally get it. The communication gap, I think it causes all of the issues that may arise at the end of the day. So I get it, and I think I also would in my own little way
Hmm.
let men know about communication. I mean, these things don't have to be so difficult. They don't have to be so difficult.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna be also, but I just communicate. I do my part. I'm gonna say that. I do my part and communicate and the person take it however they want to take it. If it's not ironed out or we can't revisit it and kind of just keep trying to iron it out, then I mean I'm not gonna stop living my life. I feel like people just really need to communicate, or some people just need to know what they want. Some people don't know what they want. They just see what other people have and compare themselves. But I, for me, know what I want. And if I'm telling you the little steps, like I just said, like I just mentioned, like, hey, if we're out, give me 10 minutes. If I see something like I'm working towards my big picture, my priority, one of my priorities. And people just, yeah, some people just don't communicate. I'm a very communicative person. If it's something that I want, like that's a goal of mine. That's a personal goal of mine.
That's really impressive and very commendable. I mean, it also shows that you own your life, you own your shit. I mean, you
Hmm.
don't you don't shy, you're not scared about how anybody feels about it. I mean, this is a stage of your life you're at, and you own it. You live it in your own terms, and
Hmm.
that's pretty commendable.
Yes, girl, took some time. It took some time, but I am here. Ooh, child. So
Welcome
what
home.